Good evening and welcome to UnNews. Tonight's story, collection, 19th of May 2007. This is Reverend Simulator for UnNews. Washington, D.C. Statuary Hall. The circular chamber inside the U.S. Capitol building that houses two statues donated by each of the 50 states is updating its collection of marble figures. Instead of the 100 statues, the hall will contain twice that number by the time Congress reconvenes after this year's Wicca winter solstice break at the end of December. Like the state's selections of the original statues, their choices for the new additions is likely to prove controversial. Statuary Hall originated as a way for each state to commemorate historical figures that each state's legislature considered important to their own history. From the outset, some of the individuals who were selected for the honor proved to be controversial. Virginia elected to include a statue of Robert E. Lee, despite the fact that the Union states considered him the commander of the Confederate Army of America. CSA forces, and they considered him a traitor, and black Americans believed him to have been both a champion of slavery and a whoremonger. Virginia's other original donation to the hall, George Washington, was equally contentious as he owned slaves and was by one of the females as he owned slaves by one of the females of whom he may have fathered the country. Sorry. The new additions to the chamber are likely to be equally controversial. Massachusetts has decided to contribute a statue of Senator Ted Kennedy and the passenger Mary Jo Compechny, whom he drowned in 1969. After drunk, she was unable to provide the senator with satisfactory fellatio. Although the drunken Kennedy claimed her death was accidental, he was unable to explain why the secretary's corpse was nude and his semen was found inside her oral cavity. Many citizens of Massachusetts say they cannot understand why a murderer and sex offender was selected as someone worthy of being honored by a sculpture of his likeness being placed in Statuary Hall. One of the senator's constituents told UnNews reporter Lotta Lies, quote, "He's an embarrassment to the state and a threat to women. He belongs in prison with his cousin, Michael Skakel, not in Congress," unquote. Mississippi didn't have too much to choose from as far as famous people to honor. No one outside the Academy, and fewer even among the resident scholars of the nation's ivory towers, have ever heard of William Faulkner. And there are already numerous statues commemorating drug addict and sometimes rockabilly star Elvis the Pelvis Presley. So for Mississippi, all who was left by any way of fame or fortune is bald-headed nudist Britney Spears. State's Governor Haley Barbour complained, quote, "We would have liked to have made a real contribution to the hall, but Reese Witherspoon's from Louisiana and Sarah Michelle Gellar's from New York. Britney's the best we could do," unquote. Poor bastards. Oh, let's try this for a cheesy effect. Let's see how this works. Dun dun dun. Do I look like a psycho of some sort? Dun dun dun. Alright. New York's donation of a statue of hotel heiress Paris Hilton, notorious for her refusal to wear a bra or panties in public, for drunkenness, and for her starring role in a sex tape with former boyfriend, and for her condescending attitude toward jails, generating much debate among citizens of the Empire State. However, one New Yorker Jeffrey Beck says he likes the statue, which shows a naked Hilton lying supine while her dog frolics at her breast. According to the artist, Daniel Edwards, the statue was created as a warning to Hilton, and her continued irresponsible partying would lead to her untimely death, for her figure is supposedly a likeness of her corpse during an autopsy. The presence of her dog intimates bestiality and necrophilia, two of Paris's personal interests. Reportedly, police are investigating the statue as representing a possible death threat against the heiress. Arkansas's selection of Bill Clinton has also angered some of the former president's fellow Arkansans. All right. Who am I quoting here? Sam Walton. Martha Good. Okay, Martha Good said, quote, "I can see the Smithsonian requiring Monica Lewinsky's blue dress. It has real historical value, but why would anyone want to include a statue of a sex pervert and an adulterer in Statuary Hall? I'd rather see a statue of Sam in there. At least he gave America something of value," unquote. By Sam, Good meant Sam Walton, founder of Walmart. She said, quote, "He made lingerie affordable. Bill made them superfluous," unquote. Two of Edwards' other statues, getting back to Paris Hilton's statues, are also being donated to Statuary Hall. Same artist's statue of Senator Hillary Clinton will also be donated, courtesy of New York, for inclusion of other notables and quotables, such figures in Capitol Chamber. The Clinton bust shows Hillary's two biggest assets, her breasts, which are bared to symbolize her power, but lack nipples to suggest that, quote, "she isn't a maternal figure who likes to provide milk and bake cookies," unquote. Edwards' other statue, Suri Cruz's poop, and I'm not kidding you, this is a real statue, although I find it hard to believe that's what the first poop actually... Anyway, is the likeness of bronzed feces of Tom Suri Cruz, the daughter of Tom Cruise, who is not gay, and Katie Holmes, who knows. Donated by California, it's the only figure, so to speak, that is less than human. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who is herself likewise less than human, said, quote, "I think it's darling," unquote. This she gushed. Asked his opinion of the state's more controversial statues, President George W. Bush said, quote, "There's no accounting for taste. The country, or the Supreme Court at least, elected me, after all, unquote. Hey, I don't read these ahead of time. I just like to do them off the cuff. You know, like it. Go to the Onion. They're funny. And smart. Simulator for UnNews. Thank you for suffering.